former lawyer, Alex Murdaugh, has been sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his wife and son. Mr. Murdaugh's wife and 22-year-old son, Paul, was shot at close range on their family estate in June 2021. Prosecutors argue that he killed his wife and son to divert attention from his financial crimes and gain sympathy.
The life sentence is another chapter in the downfall of the disgraced attorney whose dynastic family had significant legal reach for decades in parts of South Carolina's Low Country. It comes days after Murdaugh was convicted of murder in the shooting deaths of his wife and son. The Colleton County jury deliberated for less than 3 hours on Thursday before finding Murdaugh guilty of killing his 22-year-old son Paul with a shotgun and his 52-year-old wife Maggie with a rifle on the 7th of June 2021. Judge Clifton Newman, before handing down 2 consecutive life sentences, reminded Murdaugh of his astonishing fall from grace. The judge added he had to have a portrait of Murdaugh's grandfather removed from the courtroom to ensure a fair trial.
First few days of jury selection and the remainder receiving testimony, an overwhelming amount of testimony and evidence that was presented to the jury for the jury's consideration. As I indicated to the jury during the jury charge, or the charge on the law, that this was a matter solely for the jury to determine. The court found at the end of the state's case that there's sufficient evidence to find the defendant guilty if the evidence was believed by the jury. Likewise, at the end of the defense's case, when the motion was renewed, the court found that the evidence was sufficient for the jury to find the defendant guilty. The jury has now considered the evidence for a significant period of time, and the evidence of guilt is overwhelming, and I deny the motion.
Mr. Murdaugh's wife, Maggie, and son Paul were found fatally shot on the family's Islandton property on the 7th of June 2021. Alex Murdaugh, who took the stand last week in his own defense, maintained innocence and claimed he found the bodies after returning from a brief visit to his sick mother that night, without prejudice to his right of